Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is a bit different because I did not feel like getting on VR because I'm a bit ill and my voice hurts. Anyways, I'm gonna give a basic prop setup in this tutorial and go over how to make a basic grip. So we're gonna be making something similar to this battery right here. You're gonna be able to grab it, force grip it. So we're just gonna be working with a cylinder grip today. So what you're gonna want to do, you're going to want to create an empty, call it whatever you want. I'll just call it cylinder, press F to focus on it, and right click on it, create another empty, call it mesh, or meshes, another empty, call it colliders, and then one more empty, call it grips. Under meshes, create another empty, I usually call it whatever it is, and mesh at the end. Add a new component, look for mesh, get mesh filter, and mesh renderer. In this case, you would look for the mesh here, and then the renderer here, or you could just drag it in, for example. I could just drag it in, but I'm not going to do that because we already have a mesh set up. If you go to 3D objects, capsule, see it's already here for us. So I'll just do that, get rid of this one, and then put mesh at the end. And then see it has a collider, so I'm going to copy that collider, go to colliders, create empty, and then just call it collider with a capital or with a lowercase c. Right click on the transform, paste, component is new. Once you've pasted your collider in, go to the capsule mesh and then delete this collider. This is so we can scale the capsule mesh without messing up the grip or the prop at all. So in this case, I think you're going to want to scale it down to 0.1 on all axes. So 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Gonna have to do the same thing for our collider. In this case, you want to scale down the actual collider itself to avoid any issues. So for the radius, we'll do 0.05. For the height, 0.2. And then bam. Just like that. And then in the grips, right click, create empty, and then grip. Then what you're going to want to do, go back to your collider, right click it, and copy component, go back to the grip, right click transform, paste, and component is new. And for the grip, you make it a trigger, and I make the radius slightly larger, so 0.06 is fine. Add another component, look for cylinder, and do the bottom one, cylinder grip. Fuse grip and electronic grip, I'm not too sure what those do, so just do cylinder grip. This is a little intimidating at first, but don't worry, it's very easy. Just copy these steps and change them to your liking once you test it out in game. So is throwable, set that to true. Additional grip colliders, you don't have to do anything for that. Handle amplify curve, I usually just set it to this or something like this. Anyone works. Hand pose, in this case we're going to want to look for cylinder grip small, because this is a small cylinder. Cylinder grip large would probably work better for something like a barrel. For the primary movement and secondary movement axes, do 1 for Z on the primary movement axis. And then for the secondary movement axis, do 1 for X. Some people do 1 for Y, but in my case, I'll just do 1 for X. Grip options, I almost always set it to multiple hands. You can do toggled grip, far hover, or switch hands. I know for sure switch hands, you actually have to let go of the object before you can hold it with your other hand. So I usually just do multiple hands. It's up to preference though. Priority, set it to 1. This is a more advanced setting for if you have multiple grips. The min break force, set that to infinite. If you just type inf, it autofills, but I still like to copy and paste it because it's easier. For the max break, do infinite, and the default grip distance, also infinite. The radius, we can change this to be probably 0.04 maybe. Also, you'll see the hand. I have this hand because I have something called the grip gizmo. I'll put the grip gizmo in the description below, but you'll see it's the wrong way. So in game, if you try to grab it now without setting up a transform, it would just completely bug out your hand. So what you're going to want to do, right click on this grip, create empty, and then I usually just call it transform. Now go back to your grip, go drag the transform into the target transform here, and then bam, go to the transform of the grip, go to rotation mode, and then rotate it to be 90 on the x-axis. So it'll be something like this, and that is looking a bit odd on the radius. As you can see, the fingers kind of clipping through. So I'll do 0.05 on the radius. That's a bit better. I think we'll do 0.6 just to be safe. Yeah, that looks about right. All right, now for the rotation limit, I set this to 180, and the rotation priority buffer, set it to 21. These are just kind of settings I've just copied. Not exactly sure what they do. All right, on the flippable hand poses, do target flip on primary axis, set that to checked. And you can set the hand pose to be cylinder grip small. It doesn't really affect anything though. And for the cylinder options, for the dynamic friction, change it to 1. Static friction, change it to 1. You can change those to whatever you like though. Limit, that's how much your index finger, because it's based on the index finger, can slide along like this cylinder. So probably 0.05 would do, or 4. Yeah, 0.05 would do. Also make sure HasCap A and HasCap B is enabled, so your index finger doesn't go past these little blue rings right here. Again, this is a quality of life feature from the grip gizmo, which is in the description. Rotation, friction, multiplier, and aspect ratio don't really matter. Radius curve is for a more advanced hand pose. Like if you slid your hand, it would kind of change the radius of the hand pose. It's a bit advanced, so I won't get into it. Or another thing all spawnables have is an interactable icon. So that's whenever you hover your hand over an object, has that little white dot in the middle. Put an example up on screen. If you don't have it, people won't really know you'll be able to grab it, especially if it's a heavier object. They'll just think it's like grippable or something. So I always put an interactable icon. For the target center, make it the transform that's under the grip. The icon size, make it 0.1. And the animation duration, make it 0.25. You can change these to whatever you like. These are just like kind of the default values. And the last thing you want on your grip is a pull force grip. It's force pull grip, my bad. Change the max speed to be infinite. This is only if you want force pulling on your spawnable. Just in this example, I'll put it here. And this actually doesn't make your object force grabbable. There's a little bit you have to do before it actually works. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that. So finally, for our grip, last thing we want to do is go up to layer, where it's the default, click on that, and then make it interactable. And then if it says you want to change all children objects, just say no, so it'll only be the grip. So now it's interactable. That's part of what makes the force grip work. So now we've done all that. That was pretty fast. Let's go back to the root object. So this is where you made your empty game object and put everything under it. What we're going to want to do now is go to add component, type Marrow, and then add a Marrow entity and a Marrow body. Oh, and very important, this will not work if you don't have it. Add a rigid body. Even if what you want to make is static, you always have to add a rigid body, or else it'll spawn in the origin of the world in the floor. I'm not too sure why. Probably just because some sort of physics calculations. So yeah, always be sure to add a rigid body. So go ahead and validate the Marrow entity and validate the Marrow body. And what you're going to want to do next is we're going to have to add a few things. Go ahead and add a interactable host manager right here. This is to help it despawn, because sometimes if you don't have this, it doesn't despawn. You're also going to need a pulley. This is what also makes it despawn. I think the pulley is mainly what makes it despawn, actually. The interactable host manager is just kind of a backup. And the last thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the Marrow body and then scroll down until you see something called tracker settings. Go to layer, change this to entity. Go down to the settings under layer, click this little plus, and just copy these settings. Is active, set it to true. Layer is 1. Size is 0.5 on all axes. Radius is 0.5, and then the height is 2. These are just the tracker settings. I don't think these exactly matter, but these are crucial to like some of the background functionality like force grip and despawn. So yeah, once you have that all set up, validate again. Always best practice to validate these all the time. You know, I think I'm gonna put a material on this object just cuz. Put like a metalish material, and the fun of it is you can make it however heavy you want. So I'll make it like 5, I guess. Validate again, and there you go. Now you pretty much have your spawnable done. What you're gonna want to do next, you're gonna want to go to prefabs, and I usually have like subfolders, so props and stuff. That's just what my subfolders are called. And then drag it in to make it a prefab. As you can see, I've done this once before because I lost the audio to the other tutorial, but it's fine. It's easy to do. All right, now you're gonna want to create a new pallet. Unless you already have a pallet, just go to the pallet over here. Go to the pallet, inspector, new crate, spawnable crate, and then you're gonna want to drag the prefab in. So find your prefab and drag it in. It'll auto name it. You can name it to whatever you want. I'll just put test afterwards and create. And then once you've created that, just be sure to pack it and then install it. Pack process might take a little while, especially the first time, but that is completely okay. Just wait for it to pack. It'll say successfully packed down here once it's finished in the console. And then once you install it, it'll say copied to, and then your Bonelab mods folder. And just try it out in game. I'll switch over to my headset and show y'all what it looks like. Alrighty, and now, once you go into utilities, pallets, should be the first one that appears, and then whatever you called it. Spawn it in, and boom. There you go. Now you get a fully working spawnable. You can do it to whatever you want. There's different types of grips that you can play around with. Make it however heavy you want. Possibilities are seriously endless. So yeah, let me know if you guys want more tutorials, how to do like impact effects and stuff like that. Well, I know there's impact effects, but sound effects. If you want a tutorial on like box grips, or if there's any help you need, just leave a comment down below and have fun. Yeah, they should be able to despawn too. That's a problem I see done a lot, where they're not able to despawn. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please be sure to like the video, and let me know if you had any issues. Comment your issues below. I can try to help out with those, as many of those as I can, and give me suggestions for any other tutorials I should make. But yeah, that'll be it. See you guys.